Good evening. Welcome to the November Board of Education meeting. Hope everybody is well. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening once again. We have approximately 150 participants tonight. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We're going to try to move through the agenda. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody's doing the best they can. Let's start with a retirement that we have. Hank, can we start with that tonight?
Good. Let's, Denise, if we can introduce Dr. Sapienza.
Yes.
And bring him over.
It's my pleasure to recognize High School Learning Center instructor Laura Katz upon her retirement. Over the course of her 18-year career at Jericho High School, Mrs. Katz has established herself as a go-to person in the High School Learning Center. She has supported students across disciplines and all grade levels in the high school. Laura, it is safe to say that you certainly are a master of your craft. Thank you for all of your efforts and for all of the students whose lives you've touched. We will certainly miss you and wish you all the best in your retirement.
Thank you and congratulations to Laura Katz. I have a motion here. Recommend a motion, whereas Ms. Laura Katz first began service on September 2nd, 2003 and had continuous service for the past 17 years and will retire on November 30th, 2020, whereas she has provided dedicated service to the children of Jericho, and whereas she has always been capable, cooperative, loyal member of the staff. Now therefore be resolved, the Board of Education extends sincere appreciation on behalf of this community for a job well done. And be it further resolved, the Board of Education extends honor upon Ms. Laura Katz, who is and has been an important part of the history of our community. Have a motion?
So moved.
Pam, do I have a second? Jill, any discussion other than congratulations and thank you? All in favor? Aye. Congratulations again, Laura. Let's start this evening, if we could, with the middle school report with Ariana Waldman. Ariana, you're here. Welcome.
She should be coming.
Denise, should we start with high school or should we just wait?
Oh,
There we go.
There she is.
It was like doing something weird. Should I start? Okay.
Yes, Ariana, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Waldman, and I'm a 7th grade student in the Jericho Middle School. It is a pleasure to be here this evening. The SEL theme for the month is high expectations and goal setting. High expectations is believing that others can be successful, telling them so, and praising their accomplishments. We have been celebrating Red Ribbon Week this week. Red Ribbon Week is dedicated to the DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena and his fight against drugs. This year's theme is Be Happy, Be Brave, Be Drug-Free, encouraging children, families, and communities to live happy, healthy, and drug-free lives. Monday and Tuesday's theme was Drugs Are a Red Flag. Students and staff were red to support Red Ribbon Week. Wednesday and today, our theme was Team Up Against Drugs. Students and staff wore their favorite team jerseys or school apparel. Tomorrow, Monday's theme is Follow Your Dreams and Be Drug-Free. Students and staff will be going to school in our pajamas. Our online book fair is starting next week. Our virtual book fair is scheduled to run from November 23rd through December 4th. This year, there will be a virtual Black Friday shopping event for books to help support our school's reading programs and encouraging our students to develop personal libraries. 25% of the profits earned will be shared with our school in the form of scholastic dollars. Also, mark your calendar for that week to participate in fun reading related activities that will be unlocked each day. This year, our student leadership groups are starting with a community service project for the holidays. Lily Bettman, and an 8th grader, has designed beautiful digital holiday cards to share with the community. Our leadership groups will be encouraging our students body to write notes of positivity and support to various organizations such as the residents of local nursing homes, Schneider's Children's Hospital, and the Jericho Fire Department. We are hopeful that receiving a holiday card full of well wishes from the Jericho Middle School community will brighten the holiday season for these very deserving community members. Parent-teacher conferences will be held virtually Tuesday, November 24th from 3 to 5 and 7 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday, November 25th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Team advisors have contacted those parents who the team wishes to meet with. If you have not been contacted but you have a concern, please contact the student team advisor or your child's guidance counselor. The Q1 grades are now available online. To view them, please log into PowerSchool Parent Portal. Mr. Gleason emailed all parents the link. If you have any questions, please contact your child's guidance counselor. School will be closed for the students on November 25th, 26th, and 27th for the Thanksgiving holiday. We wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday.
Thank you, Ariana. That was awesome. Glad to hear so many amazing things at the middle school. And we have a little chat box, and Principal Gately was shouting you out while you were talking, saying great job.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, awesome. Have a great holiday. If we could now have Alexia Cadata Brown and Jay Kupferman with the high school student council report, please.
All right. Hi, guys. Good evening. So, as we just finished up the first quarter, the high school students are really getting into the swing of things and are thankful that everyone is healthy and that school is still open.
In October, we concluded a successful and fun 2-week Spirit Week and celebrated Halloween by decorating the hallways and hosting a Halloween parade. The events were a great opportunity for the yearbook and video yearbook to film and capture content.
We're currently collecting toys alongside the National Honor Society for the annual JHS Toy Drive, with bins located at the attendance office and the front circle. Our collection will be until November 25th, and the Toy Drive event will be on December 12th.
This Saturday, the senior class will be enjoying the first ever Chalk Fest event hosted in the senior parking lot. Seniors will decorate the parking spots with chalk, and prizes will be given out for the top 2 spots in 6 different categories.
On December 9th, Jericho will be hosting its first family night of the year. We are excited to offer a homework-free night to students, allowing them to spend quality time with their families and support local restaurants.
We are also excited to start planning for our winter boutique. In years prior, we created a store with all collected items and donated them to individuals in need. This year, we are looking to create an online experience in accordance with COVID-19 safety guidelines. This will most likely be done through the creation of a website displaying all of the items for a virtual shopping and selection experience.
Looking toward the holiday season, we are planning to hold another Spirit Week, with the dress-up days to be determined.
Thank you all, and we hope you have a great evening.
Thank you both for updating us on the high school happenings. It sounds great, and wishing you and your families and all the students a great Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Thank you.
With the PTA council report, Gina Levy.
Okay, good. Hi, I think I need the high school students to help me. We can see how well they've adjusted just by them alternating with their wonderful speech tonight. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm Gina Levy and I represent the Jericho Joint PTA Council. This week, along with Jericho Joint PTA Council, SEPTA, had a wonderful speaker, Nicole Weissman, who's the executor and director of NSSA, who has worked with Jericho for over 20 years. Her topic was sibling relationships, barriers and strategies for success. She spoke of how to help siblings without disabilities connect with their siblings who do have disabilities and how to deal with their own feelings within their families. Much of her information was applicable as well to anybody with siblings in their family and how to connect at certain times. It was a very well informative presentation. We hope that many parents can continue to join us in the various types of meetings Jericho Schools, SEPTA, Board of Ed, and PTA offer to help everyone in our community during these trying times and stay informed. So please look out for your emails, and if you have any questions, please contact myself if you'd like to get more involved in some of our meetings that we're helping. I would like to thank some people in our school that work tirelessly behind our teachers and administrators. They're working very hard every day to make your children smile or laugh, be it remote or in school. We want to thank the maintenance staff, the guards at carpool and around school, to the nurses for all your hard work checking in on our students and families, as well as office staff, transportation staff, and everybody who cooks and works in our food services, and everyone in between. We appreciate your efforts and energy and continue to support to make everything run as smoothly as possible. The sentiment around school has been that things are going well. All members of our school community and the PTA, Board of Ed, administrators, teachers, faculty, and staff are working very hard to listen, review, and do our best to continue to make our school a place where our students feel safe and can learn, whether it be at home or hybrid, no matter how many bumps in the road may come our way. With that, I just want to say thank you, and everybody have a wonderful and healthy and happy holiday with your families.
Thanks, Gina. Thank you always for joining us. Appreciate it. You have a great holiday, you and your family. Thanks. Let's see. Okay. We have a number of discussions on the reports. Hank, I guess we can start with the superintendent's report, or we can just go, I've just done 2, 3, 4. I can just keep going down that list.
What I can do is, tying into the superintendent's report, Bill, I can, go through the superintendent's report and do number 6 and 7. So if you'd like, if you want to do number 5 first, and then I'll take it, everything kind of runs into one, several things run into one another.
Sure, no problem. So number 5 on the calendar tonight was a discussion on the renaming of the Robert Seaman Elementary School. There's more people on here tonight than have ever really been in a meeting when we originally discussed this. We have discussed renaming the Seaman School, or partially renaming the Seaman School in honor and memory of Jeffrey Ratner, principal of the Seaman School and vice principal of Jericho High School, when he met his untimely death, which was a sad, sad time for all of us here in Jericho. And we've had these discussions, and we've discussed it with the family. And I know I originally suggested we kind of move this to a time where celebration would be more appropriate, where we could gather, at a naming or something like that. But I know people have been anxious to talk about it, and I don't know when we're going to be able to gather. So we kind of put it on the agenda tonight for the board to discuss. Please, if anybody would like to speak.
Bill?
Yes.
I think it would be such an honor and a privilege to add Mr. Ratner's name to the school, while at the same time honoring the legacy of the Seaman name. So he was a wonderful vice principal, teacher, and a person.
I think, we've discussed this for a lengthy period of time, and I think there's been an overwhelming degree of support that we've received from students, prior students, parents, and staff members. And again, my recollection is that there was almost unanimity in the sense that this would be an appropriate honor for a giant in Jericho's time, and I'm very pleased to see it back on the agenda this evening for board action.
Yeah, I think we already, at a prior meeting in the spring, we pretty much all agreed that we wanted to go forward with it. And like Bill said, we wanted to postpone it so we could be in person. So I think it's important to get this done since it's been hanging around for months and months. And hopefully by the time we actually get a new sign on the building, we can have a public ceremony or a public celebration. Now the question is, what will the name actually be? We talked about a couple of different options, so maybe we should get some feedback. I don't know if anyone has if anyone has a definitive name that they want to use or a suggestion, or if we want to, throw a few out there and see what people think. Do you mean in terms of the board, Jill? Well,
Yeah,
first,
I mean, listen, we can
get feedback.
I mean, we've discussed this before, and there's a couple comments that are relevant, and somebody actually said, could it be the Jeffrey Ratner Seaman School or the Robert Seaman Ratner School or something like that? And those are the things that we've talked about in the past. Is honoring the history of Seaman, and we've looked into that a little bit, and still honoring Jeffrey Ratner. So I think that the first thing we probably need to do is discuss and finalize the idea of renaming the school. I think that we could probably do that, and then in the next month or two come up with a definitive name. I think that might be appropriate. Is that correct, Chris?
It is. It's a very simple process, actually. There's no statutory or regulatory procedure that's required other than the board adopts a resolution. What you could do tonight, Mr. Farrow, is agree upon we're going to change the name to honor Mr. Ratner. In between now and your December or January board meeting, come up with some suggestions from the board, from the community as to what the exact name will be. Thereafter, I send a copy of the newly adopted name with a form of the state education department, and then they file it at that point. So it's a relatively simple process. Once the Board of Education has gathered commentary, that makes a decision as to what the exact name of the school should be. So for tonight, I actually drafted a board resolution that reads, be resolved that the Board of Education hereby renames the Robert Seaman Elementary School to honor former Principal Jeffrey Ratner. The specific name will be identified in an upcoming Board of Education meeting in December 2020 or January 2021. So that commits you to, you're renaming it, you're still sorting out exactly what that name's going to be, and then you can actually make that decision either in December or January.
There are a few more questions that I'd like to address. And if anybody has any questions, there is a chat box that you can make available to yourself. But one of the questions is, and I know we don't have a definitive answer to this, but the cost associated with changing this name of the school, Victor. I mean, I would assume, we're really talking about signage and probably letterhead for the most part. I mean, it's not a huge, substantial.
Yeah, no, that would be it. And I would imagine over the next several months, we'd use the balance of whatever letterhead we had and then change it gradually. And it would just be the sign on the building. The process with SED that Mr. Power spoke about is, there's no cost to that process with the state itself.
Thanks, Victor. And the chat is open. I know that there's people that are voicing their support. In the chat, I can also say, to the 170 something people that are there, when we had these public discussions, the support was overwhelming. And so we know what the majority of the public thinks, and we appreciate that very much. Anybody else with any other comments? I have a couple other comments. So.
Bill, is there any way that we could share about why it came up that we want to rename the school honoring Mr. Ratner in this building for people that might not have been at the prior meetings?
Sure. I mean, I think I briefly touched on it when we opened the meeting. I need to close this chat. It's popping up like wild. So Jeffrey Ratner was the first principal when we reopened Seaman Elementary School, and really was the face of that school for many years, and had students and parents and teachers. And then he retired, and when he was in his retirement, we asked him to come back and be interim vice principal of the high school, which is a lot different than being principal of an elementary school. And he didn't hesitate. And not only did he come back, but he came back in a big way, and immediately made more connections with more students, with more parents, with more faculty. He was a very unique man and a very unique educator, somebody who all my kids went to Seaman, so somebody who I knew for a very long time, but got to know even more when he came to the high school. His passing was a tragic and unexpected time for the high school, and there was a tremendous amount of mourning, but people really came together, he's somebody that was very well respected, a very big part of the history of the Jericho School District. And I know people are excited about that, but I will just, now that we've said that, I will tell you this, I have a concern, and it's not going to be a popular concern at all. I've been on the board for 12 years, and this is a unique circumstance, but I think once you open the door to renaming a school, there's going to be other situations, sadly, or appropriately, that may arise, and how many schools do you consider changing the name of? And that's why we originally talked about things like an auditorium or things in the high school that people would see, and I still sit with those concerns, and I have to be candid about that. And I've just told you how much I respect and really, really did cherish my friendship with Mr. Ratner. So it's, my opinion is not in any way a negative reflection on all of his accomplishments that he had and all the lives that he touched here in Jericho. It's just, it's just a feeling that I thought it was important for me to share publicly. I am trying to read as many of the chats as I can. I know this is, during COVID and these Zoom meetings, this is a very unique time. I'm trying to get everybody's point of views across, and I think we do that as well, or better than most schools. And I'm there's a lot here, and there's a lot of people here that I know and respect as well. Anybody else with any comments or thoughts as far as the board?
I mean, I echo your concern with that, which is why I was reflecting on my earlier comment about not losing the Seaman name.
I got you. And it's again, I don't know that everybody can see all the comments. All the comments we're getting, for the most part, are hugely, in favor of renaming the school, and more so than that, really just talking again accolades about Mr. Ratner. There's a number of people who did just comment about having a similar sentiment to mine. And again, it was important for me to say that publicly, but That being said, anybody else have a comment?
Just for history, in our first conversations, the board and the school district received well in excess of 50 emails from the community in support of renaming the Seaman School. There was overwhelming sentiment and support. And again, the board saw all of those emails.
Again, listen, I'm having a bit of a tough night. I'm not feeling well. I had a problem with my audio earlier, which is why we started. Now, evidently, my picture is purple. So I apologize. I don't know why it's purple. I'm probably not going to know how to fix it myself. Patrick hopped on and helped me with my audio earlier. So I apologize for that. Thank you, Hank. Anybody else with a comment? I know everybody's trying to read, but is there another comment that we might have? All right, so there was a motion, and maybe Chris, I don't have it in front of me again, so maybe you could read it if you could.
That the Board of Education hereby renames the Robert Seaman Elementary School to honor former Principal Jeffrey Ratner. The specific name will be identified in an upcoming Board of Education meeting in December 2020 or January 2021. That was the motion, Mr. Farrell.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dab? Go a second. Sorry, Jill. Any other discussion? So again, the motion is that we will in fact be renaming the school if the motion was to pass, and that it's going to be some hybrid, that will still carry the Seaman name and honor Jeffrey Ratner, and that we'll have a final determination on that name in the next 30 or 60 days. All in favor? Please raise your hand so we can get everybody. All in favor?
Aye.
Four, no opposed. I'm going to abstain for the reasons that I stated earlier. And it's, again, I know it's not a popular thing to do, and I rarely do abstain. I certainly would never vote against this. Again, everybody knows my feelings about Mr. Ratner, but for the aforementioned reason, I'm going to abstain on this particular vote. So the vote will pass 4-0 with one abstention. Let's move on to the vacation policy, if we could. Or Hank, do you want to tie that in with your superintendent's report? Is that what you suggested?
Yes, again, I have several issues, and some of them are tied together. So why don't I do that? Let me start off with the enrollment report. The enrollment as of November the 13th, we had 3,148 students, and at the board's request, I would report to the board that our most recent number is approximately 35% of our elementary students are remote, and approximately 47% of our middle school and high school students are remote. I guess I'd like to start my comments with wishing Pam Wasserman a happy birthday tomorrow. We wish we all could celebrate in person, Pam, and we look forward to doing that in the near future. Also, just as an announcement, every year our board president funds a toy drive for kids in Suffolk County and the Brentwood area. And it's for those of you who've had an opportunity to attend it, it is an incredible heartwarming event where hundreds of kids receive Christmas presents and get an opportunity to celebrate Christmas. Bill does just an unbelievable job, and part of that is the school district over the last few years has helped support Bill's efforts by not only working with him on that day, but raising and accepting toys to be given to the kids. So the school district is happily accepting toys from our staff and our community. I believe, Denise, we're accepting toys in central office up through November the 25th. And anybody who would like to drop off some toys to support Bill's Drive, we would greatly appreciate it. And again, just a congratulations to Bill for the wonderful work that he puts in for the students and kids in the Brentwood area. I would also like to announce that just last week, News 12 honored a scholar athlete, Jake Levy. And it would have been a wonderful opportunity for us to honor him in person at a public board meeting or in a public way. We're obviously unable to do that, but I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate Jake on being named a News 12 Scholar Athlete, and we look forward to looking at some ways to celebrate this accomplishment with him and his family and his teammates in the near future. I would also, again, made similar comments in our earlier board meetings, but our school district has done incredibly well in keeping our staff and most importantly, keeping our kids safe and healthy. Again, the hard work of many staff members, and I point out to the work of our school nurses who have been tireless, working many long hours to ensure that our kids are taken care of. Our buildings and ground staff has been doing a yeoman's job in keeping our buildings clean. Our teachers and our administrators also have worked so hard to make sure that instructional programs are running, the social emotional needs of our kids are being met. And I can't thank our staff for the work that they're doing. And again, the end result has been an incredibly safe environment for our Jericho school community. And I would underline with that, that I do believe, and again, we've all seen the news about New York City schools closing. The Jericho School District is as safe a place for our kids to be as any place. And I feel so comfortable in being able to report that the number of cases that we've had has been very few and far between. We have had absolutely no spread of COVID-19 from within our school district. Any cases that have been suspected or have been confirmed have come from outside of our school district. So I underline that our school district is a safe place and is a place where there has been no spread of COVID-19. Along with that, the board this evening will be passing a resolution, an intermunicipal agreement with the Syosset School District. We are working with the South Nassau Hospital and their staff in setting up, hopefully within the next week or two, a site which will be located initially on a Syosset property. The site will be open to all Jericho students and Jericho staff members who would like to be COVID tested. So again, realizing that many of the immediate care clinics are running 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour wait times. This is a really inappropriate time for us to be establishing a center where staff members or parents and students who have concerns will be able to get a rapid test. And again, the newest version of the rapid tests that are running 97 and 98% reliable. So that will be up and running. And as soon as that is up and running, we will share that information with our staff and with our parent community. We do hope at some point, once this site is up and running and successful, that we'll be able to duplicate the site on Jericho property as well. And I think it would be another measure to support the health and safety of our kids and our staff members. So I appreciate the board supporting this effort and voting on the intermunicipal agreement later on in the agenda. A couple of other issues that are related. We had announced at our August meeting that for the months of September, October, November, and December, our school district would be closed to visitors. We are going to extend that for January, February, and March through the spring vacation. Our school district will remain closed to visitors. We will not be running any live events during that January, February, or March time periods. We will continue to run Zoom events, parent conferences, which are coming up, will continue to take place on Zoom, and all parent contacts will be taking place through Zoom meetings. I know that the board feels strongly that they would love to be in school in person to meet, and hopefully at some point in this winter and this spring that the board can and will be able to come together again. We obviously the board misses being in school and misses that contact with our school, as do all of the staff in Jericho misses the direct contact with our community. And we hope that that there is, with the vaccinations, with the vaccine coming out, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Again, I think one of the reasons that our school has done so well is because of the support that we've received from our community. I believe that our community has been very vigilant in following CDC guidelines. The community has been, when I say vigilant, I think they have maintained social distance. They've worn masks. They have not had and been part of large gatherings. And I think that that has been a salvation in our community that has kept our community safe. So as we move into Thanksgiving weekend, I urge that our community maintains the vigilance that has been in place. And again, I hear conversations about our Thanksgiving dinner this year is going from 18 people to 4 people. I know my Thanksgiving dinner is going from 16 people to 3. I hope by us all staying with those guidelines, that will help keep our kids and staff members safe when we come back from Thanksgiving vacation. And I hope through the holiday season, as we move toward our December vacation, the same holds true. I urge that during vacation periods, and again, most importantly, the December vacation, that our community follows continues to follow the CDC guidelines in terms of travel, and closely adheres to the guidelines that have not only come out from the CDC, but from our governor that deals with travel. Again, with all of that, I wish everyone a good, healthy Thanksgiving long weekend. Enjoy your family, enjoy your extended family by Zoom, and thank you all for the support that you've given to our students and our staff over the very trying school opening that we've had. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Hank. Couple questions to follow up. I had a couple, and then there's a couple from the chat, if we may. Based on what we're talking about, people are asking questions about sports, and what is. I mean, those aren't our decisions, but can you give us an update on what you hear or what you know with respect to sports?
As of right now, high impact winter sports are on hold. That would include men's and women's basketball and wrestling. Those sports are on hold for the winter season. The moderate and low impact sports, which would be swimming, bowling, indoor track, those sports are still scheduled to take place starting in January. We are planning, the Section 8 is planning to continue with those sports as well as modified sports. We are waiting for further direction from the governor's office in terms of winter sports, but as of right now, winter sports are scheduled to begin on January the 2nd. I know that our athletic director, John Mankiewicz, has been working on opening up our gyms, effective actually as we speak from now through winter vacation, giving kids an opportunity to spend some time in our gyms between now and the start of, potentially the start of winter sports on January the 2nd.
Thanks. And Hank, can you also just, can you touch on the remote numbers again, where we're at, just because, I mean, we ran through those kind of quick, and then I'll kind of maybe have a couple follow-up questions.
Sure. Our elementary school within the last few days is running 35% remote. Our middle school and high school is running about 47% remote.
Okay, so I know that there's questions. I know I've asked you this question, and now I see it coming up in the chat. Based on those numbers in the high school and middle school, has there been any thought to extending the opportunity for students who are currently hybrid in the middle school and high school who would like to go full-time in school?
Again, I think we all would love to see our kids in the middle school and high school every day. We have checked with high school and middle school administration to see what that would look like if we brought all of our kids back, and what class sizes would look like, and whether we would, and again, one of the reasons we've done so well is we have maintained social distance in addition to masks and desk shields. When we've done the calculation, there have been 16, 18, 20 rooms, classes that would not meet our social distance rules. As our remote numbers have actually increased slightly, we plan to re-look at those numbers again. In discussing this internally, our concerns are right now, the infection rate numbers in Nassau County have increased significantly within the last week. The numbers were running under 1%. They're now running over 3%. With that increase in those numbers, we're right now not anxious to bring all of our kids back every day. It is a goal, but right now the time is not right. I think what we would plan to do is in the first of the year, see what the infection rate numbers are in Nassau County, and evaluate how many kids at that point are on remote, and whether it will work or could work in January. Obviously, in conversations we've had with Department of Health as recently as today, concern in terms of how close are we to coming into being a yellow zone within microclusters within Nassau County, and we are relatively close to that occurrence. And based upon that, this is not the time to bring more kids in or to increase the density of kids within our school buildings.
Thanks, Hank. I mean, I know you and I have spoken about that, and I'm in full agreement. I mean, the parents' feedback has been great on the learning for the most part, and we've kept our kids safe, as you've indicated. Right now, with the numbers on the upswing and everybody's anticipation of, even people who have not large Thanksgivings, but kids coming back from colleges, and colleges is a hotbed right now. Every college is a hotbed for COVID, and all these kids coming back. I think we've done so well and we've come so far that, my opinion was, if we're going to look at this, let's look at it in January. Let's see where the numbers are. Let's see if they go up and then maybe they come back down. But as a Board of Education, I think our job is to make sure that our staff, our kids, our families are in the safest environment possible and still getting the best education possible. I think that's what we're delivering right now. So I'm with what you said 100%.
Yeah, And again, one of the things that we've been really pleased with, I mean, obviously, there's been a county-wide concern as college kids are returning home this weekend and into next week. But in the conversations we've had with many of the colleges and universities, they are testing kids before they leave college. So I think the good news is our anxiety over the influx of kids coming back into our community is reduced based upon the amount of testing that is now taking place. And I know that our parents, and talking to some of our parents whose kids are returning, our parents are definitely being vigilant as their kids come back and realizing they're coming back into their home, are ensuring that the kids are testing negative before they return home. So again, it leads us to be somewhat optimistic over what the next 2 weeks will look like.
Thanks. And then, Heck, I know we just briefly touched on it, your superintendent's report, and that's really what we wanted to do. We put the vacation policy on it because we have heard rumors of people, planning on traveling. And I think what you're saying in your superintendent's report is, as a district, we're encouraging people to not travel unnecessarily, to follow the CDC guidelines, to understand the quarantine regulations that will be in effect, and all the requirements that go along with that. And again, here in Jericho, we've kept our numbers significantly down compared to other school districts on Long Island, and we'd like to still do that. So I think that's what, when we wanted to briefly touch on the vacation policy, we know people are wondering, and while we haven't had a formal policy discussion on that, our position is that we're encouraging people to stay home, stay the course, and not travel unnecessarily.
Again, Bill, just watching, and listening to, again, federal CDC, federal guidelines, and the New York State Department of Health, local Department of Health, the governor's office, everyone is saying, please do not travel. Please do not travel. And again, I think our community has done an outstanding job of not traveling and keeping our community safe. And again, I think we all underline, please do not travel.
I just wanted to just very, 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 very quickly, just thank you, Hank, for mentioning my firm's toy drive. I know it helps kids that aren't in our district, and I saw a specific comment about that. But I can tell you that this year it's going to be a drive-through, that we plan to accommodate as much as 1,000 kids, which will be the largest event ever. It's going to be a totally COVID-safe environment. But as far as Jericho goes, and the reason I want to thank you, thank Denise, thank so many people here, is that in the past, our volunteers have come from the Jericho student body and staff. Every year, the Jericho a cappella group has performed for hours. Every year, the Honor Society Student Council has not only donated, but the students have come to my office the day before for hours on end to help prepare for the event. And many have volunteered the day of the event, both watching the kids when they're with Santa Claus and helping the family shop. Cool Beans Cafe, which is an incredible resource for our kids and our kids that are really looking to expand their abilities and different things that they can do, have donated hundreds of cookies to this event every year, and our student athletes have performed. So while we service kids that aren't in the district, and we service hundreds of them every year, this has become as much of a Jericho event, a Jericho School District event, as it has my law firm event, and there's so many people I could thank for it, but I just did want to mention that. Sorry, let's see what we have next. Let's briefly, before I forget, let's do the recommended actions.
Bill, we have minutes as well.
That's what I was about to do. Recommended action, the minutes of the first one. Thanks. You and Dab keep thinking I'm going to forget that, but
Dab actually reminded me to remind you.
I appreciate that. Be resolved, the Board of Education make any necessary corrections, move the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting dated October 8th, 2020. The executive session dated October 28th, 2020, and the executive session dated November 5th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second? You have a second, Deb. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. There are some comments that I just have to just bite my tongue. Opportunity for the public to be heard. Again, this is an unusual setting. We've opened up the chat and heard from the public on quite a bit. If there's anything specific that I read that we haven't covered or that we won't cover tonight, I'll try to get to it from the chat box. But while we do that, unfinished business. Actually, Chris, I need some help because I wasn't feeling well today. I didn't go into my office. I did not print out the final agenda. If somebody has the resolution for the agreement with Syosset that Hank discussed just a few minutes ago, I'd appreciate that.
I think it's actually on.
It's number 8 on the revised agenda.
Right. Just before you get to the approval of schedules, Bill.
I get it. You know, I was having technical problems and I printed out my agenda there earlier, so I don't have 7 and 8. So if somebody could read that tonight, it would save me having to talk that much too.
Problem. So number 8 is the authorization to execute an agreement between Syosset Central School District and Jericho. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the agreement by and between the Syosset Central School District and the Jericho Union Free School District as shown in the attached, and authorize the board president to execute the same on their behalf. So this for the COVID testing site that Hank was speaking about earlier, Bill.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Do I have a motion on that? Do I have a motion, Pam? Do I have a second? Jill, any discussion? We think this is great. We've been talking about it for a little bit, but it's great to share it with the public and have an opportunity for our kids and families to be tested as needed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. What number was that, Chris? I'm sorry, was that 7?
That was 8, actually.
That was 8. Okay. I'll need help with 7, but I'll go back to 1 right now if I can. Adoption of board policy 7315, computer network and internet student acceptable use policy. Be resolved, the Board of Education adopt the following policy 7315. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Deb. No second. Pam, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Adoption of board policy 7516, opioid overdose prevention policy. Be resolved, the Board of Education adopt policy 7516. Do I have a motion? Pam, do I have a second? Jill, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Number 3, adoption of board policy 8261, internet safety, internet content filtering. Be resolved, Board of Education accept that. Do we have a motion? Divya, second. Pam, all in favor? Aye. Under new business, we did honor Miss Laura Katz. Approval of hardship waiver application. Recommend a motion be resolved. The Board of Education approve the independent evaluator hardship application for 2021 school year as shown in the attached. Do I have a motion? Pam, second. Divya, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I'm sorry, Victor, was I supposed to do something with number 2? Victor, you're muted.
Sorry about that. That was a Southwestern BOCES bid.
All right, so is there a resolution or we just move to accept the bid?
Move to join the BOCES bid as a cooperative.
Thank you. So I have a motion to move a motion to join the BOCES cooperative bid with Southern Westchester BOCES. I have a motion. Vivian, do I have a second? Pam, oh, Dad, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Acceptance of donation. Recommended action. Be resolved, the Board of Education accept on behalf of the district a donation of $515 from the Caniac PTA, who respectfully request said funds be used for recess supplies for Caniac students. Do I have a motion? Pam, second. Divya, any discussion? Thank you to the Caniac PTA. All in favor? Aye. Executed stipulation. Recommended action be resolved. The Board of Education hereby approves special education stipulation ST 202103 for the 2021 school year, and district superintendent signs such stipulation on behalf of the board. Do I have a motion? Pam, go to second. Divya. All in favor? Aye. Acceptance of donation be resolved that the Board of Education accept on behalf of the district a donation of $1,000 from the Scholarship America, who respectfully request said funds be used for professional development activities for the high school, and be it further resolved the district increase budget code 8207-446-000000 in the amount of $1,000 for this purpose. Have a motion. Sorry. I didn't see that. I apologize. Pam, do I have a second? Deb, any discussion? Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
I'll read
Kristen,
number
do you do me a
7.
favor?
I'll read 7 for
Thank
you. Sure. Number 7, authorization for the use of reserve funds. Whereas on March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization declared coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 a pandemic, whereas Chapter 126 of the laws of New York permits the use of monies held in reserves for costs incurred by the school district, which is attributable to COVID-19. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby authorizes the temporary transfer of reserve fund monies to be utilized in connection with costs incurred by the school district, which are attributable to COVID-19, provided that the reserve fund from which the funds are temporarily transferred shall be reimbursed in compliance with Chapter 126 of the laws of New York. That is the resolution, sir.
Bill, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I muted myself. I'm sorry. Do I have a motion, please? Jill, do I have a second? Pam, any discussion? Sorry. All in favor? Aye. There's a number of questions in the chat box about Board of Ed qualifications. If anybody has any questions about what the state qualifications of Board of Ed, they can certainly reach Victor Manuel, and he will be glad to tell you what they are. I can tell you this, that this has been a very difficult year so far for both the school district and the Board of Education, and these meetings have been tough. My anticipation was that we were all going to be together this evening, but I just, looking at the numbers and looking at Thanksgiving and looking where we are, you know, we had gone into school, we tested headphones, and we did all those. We did our diligence to try to all be together in one room tonight. And while we do hope to do that in the future, it just didn't seem to be the right timing tonight. I appreciate the parent support, the district support. We've done great. And as we head into Thanksgiving, I just hope that we can stay the course under the leadership of our administration and keep doing the things that we've been doing to keep our kids and families safe. Thank you. It's very, you know, there's a lot of comments here, and I'm trying to see if there's legitimate questions amongst the comments.
There was a question on the reserves on whether we plan to use any reserves based on the resolution. And just to give a little background, the state provided districts some flexibility this year due to COVID and the additional expenses. Districts have been using it in a couple of ways. One is to cover budget deficits, which isn't the situation we are in. Another use is to use it just simply for cash flow. Being that the taxes were 30 days delayed, as you know, we borrowed more in TANs, and it gets close at a couple of points, and we just want the flexibility and have the authorization to be able to tap that, and literally it would be for a couple of days based on when the tax payment comes in and how much that tax payment is. Our thought is that's a last resort. We're not planning to, but it's there as a tool and provide some flexibility for us.
People have asked about the ionization system again, and I think we briefly touch on this every meeting. I mean, we had planned on it. The state denied school districts the opportunity to change their ionization systems, and we're still in the holding pattern with respect to that. Correct, Victor?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so if we could move to approval of schedule. I have A 10141 to U 324. I have a motion to move those schedules.
With, Bill, with the addition of E 2586. I don't know whether that was in the regenerated schedule or not, but
All right, so can you just tell us briefly what that is, just to make sure that the people listening have the knowledge of that?
Victor, that was the schedule you added today.
Yeah, that was for additional cyber insurance. Our policy is up over the next few weeks, and we went out for quotes, and that is to renew the policy.
So that's not,
Thank you.
that's a renewal. It's just the same coverage that we've already had.
Yes, it's the same coverage. So we get partial coverage through our regular general liability insurance, and then this is on top of that with all of the hacks that have been going on throughout the country, throughout the schools. We felt it was important to provide us with additional coverage.
But we've had, so this is additional or new? I mean, additional or same as what we've had?
We started doing this, I think, about 2 years ago, the additional cyber insurance, and now we're continuing it.
Do I have a motion now to include, for all of those schedules, including E2586, do I have a motion? Jill, do I have a second? Pam, any discussion, other discussion? All in favor? Thanks. That basically concludes the meeting this evening. I think I've covered everything. I know I jumped around, and I apologize for coughing so often that everybody had to listen to it. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we'd like to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. I know it's not Thanksgiving like we all are used to having it. All of our days, all of our holidays have just been a little bit different. But if we hang in there together, I'm sure that we'll get through this together. And so for those of you who aren't seeing your families, that can't see your parents and have to Zoom or FaceTime, we send our sincere love and best wishes for a great holiday. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Somebody.
I think.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I think,
No?
was there a suggestion that we move back into executive session? Did I see that as a recommendation or not?
I did not see that. Jill,
I would
Jill?
like to move back into executive session.
you have to state a reason for that, please.
Legal?
It could be a personnel matter, it could be a contract issue, litigation, just some idea as to what we'll be discussing, Jill.
Oh, it's a legal issue.
Okay. No problem. I'll join you. No problem at all. Thank you.
So we'll
Victor?
move to go into executive. I have no expectation that we'll come back into public session, so we'll move to adjourn the public session, and if there is a motion to do that and go into executive session.
Victor or Denise,
Jill.
you want to resend a Zoom, please?
I'll send it.
Thank you.
All right, so Jill made a motion,
Just give me 1 minute.
seconded. All in favor? Aye. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you.